Let's queer up sports. Martina Navratilova speaks out against the U.S. Tennis Association's transgender inclusion. Martina Navratilova has criticized the U.S. Tennis Association for its stance on transgender athletes competing in women's tennis tournaments. It comes as transgender tennis star Alicia Rowley reportedly became the latest player to win a women's national tennis championship and the coveted Golden Ball. The Independent Council on Women's Sports Icons posted the news on Twitter, stating that Rowley recently won the women's 55-plus grass court national championship and national indoor singles and doubles championship. The USTA states in its transgender inclusion policy that trans athletes should be included and not blocked from playing the sport. The document states, quote, "It is necessary to ensure, insofar as possible, the transgender athletes are not excluded from the opportunity to participate in sporting competitions," end quote. But following the news that Rowley had won the national tennis championship, Icon's co-founder, Kim Shasby-Jones, tagged Navratilova and Chrissy Everett in a tweet and claimed the USTA's transgender policy should be changed. In response, 16-time Grand Slam champion Navratilova wrote, quote, "Come on, USTA. Women's tennis is not for failed male athletes, whatever age. This is not right and it is not fair," end quote. This is not the first time that Navratilova has published her views on transgender athletes competing in female sporting categories. Martina, girl, you got a platform, all right? So use it. Okay, what are you doing right now with your time? You're only painting. I think you're painting now, right? So you got time. We need your voice. We need your followers. You need to continue to stand up and speak up for these women that are competing in tennis, because again, they're women, period, done, yeah. End of story.
But Faye, don't you think she is using her voice and platform exactly the way she wants to hate? She's doing that.
I think there's a biological issue here. I think it's really important for young people to be able to participate in athletic events. But you take somebody like Alicia Rowley, who has male hormones, who went through puberty as a male, who has, a male physique, despite whatever cosmetic or biological changes have been made. Is it fair for somebody who has all that testosterone background to compete in women's athletics?
Well, Neil, there needs to be more data done about that, honey. But I mean, you should probably read an article or two, okay? Because when people transition, they're taking these hormone blockers. They're doing all this kind of stuff that their memory mass is not there any longer, okay? So what they felt like as a man is not going to be what they feel like and the strength that they're going to have the first couple of years of transitioning.
Listen, and as a biological male, I'm not very athletically inclined. So some of these women that are out there will beat me at any sport there is. So I don't think it comes down to being biologically male or female, like what Faye says. Trans women are women, period. And I think they should be able to compete in any sports or any activities that they wish to be in.
Okay, but there should be like a protocol. How long have you been transitioning? What hormone, what are you on? What are you taking? You understand? And then maybe you're allowed. Of course, like anything else, there's got to be rules and regulations to things.
To Cal's point, ignorance is ignorance, because even if there's issues of the effectiveness of a trans woman in competing in sports, there's a difference in the science catching up with this, or what the national sports bodies are saying about it, or what national medical associations are saying about it. There's almost overwhelming and totality of support of the trans community in this field. But it needs more time to digest through our society and to see the fairness of what is happening. I think almost equally as great as the issue is the hate on hate crime that goes on here. I am constantly surprised at the hate of the black community, on the black LGBTQ community, launched principally and first and foremost from the black community. Black evangelicals, the black church on black LGBT community. We've reported so many stories about that. Equally, I think it's interesting that lesbian and queer women, which should try to be the most open-minded of dialoguing our understanding, there is a very significant number that hate on trans and non-binary women, the whole TERF movement. And in both instances, black on black hate and women on women or non-binary hate, I think is interesting. And the proof of that is Navratilova's quote, failed male athletes. I very much imagine that if we had Twitter in 1959, the comments that would be made about from white supremacists in the South about black members in our community would sound like failed male athletes. You're hating. And you're not embracing. You didn't say, you know, we got to learn a lot more about this. We got to talk more about this. Let's all sit down and come to no. Hate is what's coming out of my mouth. And that's why, Navratilova, I don't care who you were in the world. I turn you off instantly because you're just hating, and that's all you're doing. It's just like 1959 against our black community. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.